Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. There is palpable tension in the country because there seems to be a choreographed plan to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. For those who have been following the politics in the country, after the Sabasaba demonstrations, there have been blame games because we saw youth burn a police station, several goons broke into supermarkets, mostly in Mount Kenya, and businesses were vandalized. And the government, through the bloggers and the proxies, have been blaming Rigathi Gachagua as the one who masterminded the goons and sent those youths to break into businesses. We have also seen certain leaders from Mount Kenya saying that Rigathi Gachagua is now destroying their property, and they want to run a narrative that Rigathi Gachagua is unfit to hold office. Rigathi Gachagua on this side is saying that these are state-sponsored goons and an economic sabotage against his community. Yesterday, for those who watched my videos, there is a particular video that I did, and I mentioned to you that Ngunyi Mutahi is now advising William Samoei Ruto to become brutal and to use the sword that was given to butcher people, so to speak. And that's what Ngunyi was saying. Dear Ruto, when we saw you in, we gave you two instruments of power: the constitution to protect and the sword to defend. You cannot protect the constitution if you cannot defend the weak. You have been too soft. That is why they have gone too far. Use the sword to defend. Winnie Mutai was literally referring to the Kikuyu community. And today, Ruto came out fuming with fury. And Ruto is saying that he has been too soft, he has been too quiet, and now enough is enough. He has declared war. He has said that those who are vandalizing people's property will be shot in the leg. And he is even alleging that the people who are organizing for demonstrations have got a clandestine plan to overthrow his government. And William Ruto seemed to be very angry. And I want to believe that it is because of pieces of advice from people like Ngunyi Mutai. I want us to listen to this, and then I want to show you how Rigathi Gachagua has literally destroyed William Ruto. He has neutralized this plan because there's a feeling that William Ruto and the government wanted to use this to pounce on him, to pounce on the leaders that support him and his supporters using the Anti-Terrorism Act. Let us begin by listening to William Ruto, and we see how Rigathi Gachagua destroyed his narrative of a coup, the narrative of vandalism, one by one. In fact, there is nothing else that remains because Rigathi knew very well where Ruto was headed.
So mimi nataka niwaambie viongozi hawa wa kuishiwa hapa, kwa sababu wanazunguka hapa town. Kwanza niliona ati wanasema ati sasa hawatangojea 2027 ati tupige kura. Ati wanataka kupanga fujo. Ati wapange maandamano. Ati wachome mali ya watu. Ati walete maafa Kenya. Ati ndio wapindue serikali ya Kenya kabla ya 2027. Mimi nataka niwaambie wajaribu. Watajua hawajui. Wajaribu. Allah. Hii ni Kenya ya demokrasia, my friends. Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia. Hamuwezi kutuambia ya kwamba mnaweza kupanga fujo ati mpindue serikali ya Kenya. Tafuteni vizuri. Sijui kama tunaelewana. I want to tell those characters, the ones who are telling us, giving us lectures, that they can change this administration using unlawful, using violence, using unlawful means at before 2027. Let them try. wafikirie vizuri. Na mtu asinia unajua wananiambia sijui nini, sijui Moi, sijui Moi. Moi alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Vile Kibaki alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Vile Uhuru alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Na kabla ya Moi kulikuwa na Kenyatta. Na baada ya Moi kulikuwa na Kibaki. Na baada ya Kibaki kulikuwa na Uhuru. Hii kisirani ni ya nini? Hapana. Hapana. Hapana, hapana. Hiyo ni upuzi. Sio kama naelewana bwana. Tuko pamoja. Hii fujo yote wananiletea. Mbona hawakuletea Kibaki? Mbona hawakuletea Uhuru? Hii madharau na kiburi ni ya nini? Wameharibu biashara ya wananchi. Na wao ni viongozi wamechochea hiyo maneno. Wanalipa vijana kwenda choma biashara ya ule. Kwenda choma biashara ya ule. Wale wote ambao wamepatikana katika hiyo njama ya kuiba na kupora mali ya wananchi na kuchoma biashara za watu wengine watachukuliwa hatua ya sheria na wote watafungwa. Na wao viongozi wao, we are coming after you. Anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu mwingine. Mtu ambaye anachukua moto anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu. Anaenda kuchoma mali ya watu wengine. Mtu kama huyo apigwe risasi miguu, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Yes. Wasimuue lakini wapige hii miguu ivunjike ndio aende kotini, aende hospitali, akienda kotini.
You've listened to him, very angry, claiming that someone wants to overthrow his government, saying that someone organized goons to go and torch a police station and bring destruction in the country. But Rigathi Gachagua has answered William Ruto. In fact, among all the press conferences that Rigathi Gachagua has called ever since I knew him as a politician, this is the best narrative. This is the best shot that Rigathi Gachagua gave William Ruto. I don't know what he's going to do after this, what William Ruto is going to do after this, because Rigathi has neutralized him. Listen to Rigathi Gachagua.
You are aware of the political developments in our country. We are standing at a point of economic, political, and social nosedive as a nation. As a country, we, the people of Kenya, are being treated by William Ruto as less Kenyans at any given moment. Driven by the resolve for a better Kenya and patriotism, I've had a call from the people of Kenya to speak into the matters that are of concern to them and all of us for our common good. On the 7th of July 2025, during the 35th anniversary of Sabasaba, Kenyans from all walks of life, led by Gen Zs, and armed and peaceful, went to the streets. This is not the first demonstration that has happened in Kenya this year, where lives have been lost and property destroyed. Unbeknown to these peaceful demonstrators, the tired regime of Ruto had a well-organized state-sponsored militia in cohort with the police and other state security agencies to maim, kill and destroy property, and blame it on the Kikuyu community and specific leaders who are perceived unfriendly to this killer regime. This targeted profiling of the Kikuyu community and destruction of their specific business is an economic sabotage not new to the narrative of William Ruto. On the 30th day, these state-sponsored militia, under instructions and guidance from the police, were dropped in different places in the country, and mostly in the Mount Kenya region and other regions not perceived friendly to the government. They were strategically dropped past midnight, and then roadblocks were placed by the police while others was dropped early in the morning. The militia were procured by Ruto, governors and MPs allied to him. These regions include Nairobi, Kiambu, Kajiado, Kisii, Nyeri, Murang'a, Kiambu, Kirinyaga, Meru, Nyandarua, Kajiado, Kitengela, Ongata Rongai, Machakos, Embu, and in Wote. They had clear instructions to loot and destroy specific properties under police supervision. A killer squad of 101 that works under the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, Nuruddin Haji, was armed with assault rifles and drove in a convoy of unmarked Subarus, shooting and killing innocent protesters aimlessly in the streets and estates. Mr. President, nobody wants to throw you. Nobody wants to overthrow your government. Nobody wants you out of power through unconstitutional means. Mr. President, I and the people we work with are on record. We want to remove you from State House through the ballot in 2027. This narrative you are creating that there is an attempt to overthrow your government is for you to have the opportunity to use a terrorism act to profile communities and to persecute leaders who are opposed to your administration. Please relax. We want you to serve your one term. Nobody wants you out of government unconstitutionally. Nobody has any plan to overthrow your administration, Mr. President. We want to face you on the ballot in August 2027. So just relax and stop crying wolf that anybody wants you out of office unconstitutionally. There is no leader here who is planning a coup, and none has the capacity. And nobody is interested. The leaders in this country, and indeed 95% of the Kenyan population, want to humiliate you at the ballot. They will relish that moment. None of them would want you to go out through any other method, unless, of course, you decided to resign on your own volition. So please stop creating this narrative. This narrative is to enable you to use anti-terrorism law to persecute leaders and to persecute the Kikuyu community. They are targeting Senator Murango. We want to remind President Ruto that it is not the Kikuyus who want him out of office. It is the entire people of Kenya. Kenyans are suffering equally across the country. That is why Kenyans have said, if you, Mr. William Ruto, believe that it is the Kikuyus who want you out, then all Kenyans are Kikuyus. I want to thank the people of Kenya for standing out against this tribal profiling of the Kikuyu. The people of Kenya yesterday did wonderful by saying that the Kikuyus...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you listened to William Ruto and he appeared very angry. I don't know whether that is deliberate, just to make us understand that he's so angry. But I also see a president that is running away from his shadows. I see a scared Ruto. Because what makes Ruto think that people want to overthrow him? This is not the first demonstration that we've seen. And I believe that he's doing this one to attract sympathy from his supporters. That is, his government wants to be overthrown. And I like what Rigathi Gachagua has told him, that we want to humiliate you in the ballot. That assurance cannot be misconceived because it is a direct answer to William Ruto. Hakuna mtu ambaye anataka kukutoa kwa uongozi. And I think that settles everything. It even drives away the sympathy that the president wanted to drive unnecessarily from his supporters. Then there was this narrative that kwa nini hawa watu hawakusumbua Moi? And you know, both of them, both Mwinyi Mutahi and William Ruto and the adherents of the government are referring to the Kikuyu nation. And they are saying, why didn't they put pressure to Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta? We have always said that there are several reasons for this. One, the social media that we use today, the level of information and how easy people get information is different from Uhuru's time. I remember at some point Uhuru was saying, ya kwamba he was insulted that was in Facebook or on X handle until he had to pull down the X handle and the Twitter and the Facebook. He himself said it, ya kwamba, mimi hao watu wamenichosha huko. Because as a leader, people see your weaknesses. People have a right to criticize you. Azimio went to the streets. It is not the first time. I don't know why William Ruto wants to reduce this to be a Kikuyu exercise. And I saw this when Azimio was going to the streets. They decided to reduce this to a Luo affair, because back then Azimio was a conglomeration of parties. Kalonzo was there with Wiper, Martha Karua was there, of course the ODM was the biggest party there. When people were going to the streets, they decided to kill people from a particular community, to be very precise, in Kisumu. They were retrieving them from homes. They wanted the nation and the whole world to feel that they were painting a picture that this is a Luo affair, to mean that it is only Raila and a few Luos who are disgruntled about his government. That is the same thing that is now doing. He wants this to look like it is only the Kikuyu community that are fed up with him. The reality is, Kenyans from all walks of life, from all the corners, are very tired of this government. A regime that does not listen to them, a regime that is full of promises, a regime that will always renege in the promises. Remember, Ruto said after Jesus went to the street that, that the number of advisors will reduce. Today, the number of advisors have increased instead. If we have to look at every promise that William Ruto made and their implementation, you realize that in a scale of 0 to 10, most people, those who support him, will tell you he's at 5 because they just love him. The reality is he's at 2 in the maximum. So this idea of trying to reduce the protests and demonstrations, that it is only a Kikuyu affair, is not true. And I know there's been a discussion about what Rigathi used to say: we cannot live in the past. For those who have been following this channel, we criticized when we felt that Rigathi Gachagua was crossing the line, the democratic line. We criticized that. And so we are not going to live in the past, because if we have to go back to the past and start saying that now, Ruto is good, he has embraced the Luo community, just recently he was killing them. Let us live at the present situation, and look at what is good for us. And if this was a plan, maybe from the NIS and the deep state, that they wanted to use the Anti-Terrorism Act to arrest Rigathi supporters, to arrest Rigathi himself, because I have a feeling that's what they want to do. Recently, the DCI told us that Rigathi is not immune to arrest. And there's been a lot of pressure from William Ruto allies, to push William Ruto to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. And that is why Ruto was saying, enough is enough. I have been very quiet. Before any distraction, pride comes before a fall. People are so blinded by power that they feel they can act anyhow. But I want to tell you, it will be regrettable if you arrest Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua is not the person that William Ruto went with in the 2022 election, because they have persecuted Rigathi Gachagua so much that he has gained popularity. He's now the face of opposition. We need to tone down. And I remember Rigathi was telling William Ruto, wacha hasira. Wacha hasira. Instead of looking at ways to arrest some people, why can't William Ruto just sit down with his think tanks and do the right thing? Because he understands very well. He consumes intelligence and he knows exactly what he needs to do. And if he has forgotten, I would urge William Ruto to go back to the press briefing that he gave after Gen Z's protest, when he said he would stop giving money to the first lady, the second lady, and even the office of the wife to the prime cabinet secretary. He had even promised to curtail foreign and local trips. He had said the number of advisors would reduce. He has come back to factory setting, and now they want to pretend that they do not know that they are on a very wrong trajectory. Doing the right thing is better than reacting, using violence, using the power of the bullet. One thing that disturbs me, William Ruto is blaming some goons, and he says he doesn't know where they are from, except that he feels they've been organized by Rigathi and his group. Rigathi says that these are goons that have been organized by the state. I saw some goons from the governor's office, and that gives me a soft landing on Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi has always been very firm on the destruction of businesses and property from Mount Kenya. When Raila went to the street with the Azimio, he said, wanataka kuharibu biashara yetu. And I don't think Rigathi Gachagua can preside over a youth gang that is destroying their supermarket, their businesses. I don't think, and I'm not saying that I'm not really speaking for him, but my personal opinion, having giving a judgment based on his past pronouncements, I don't think he can do that. Today, Rigathi Gachagua has made that declaration. Let no one ever say that Rigathi wants to topple Ruto's government. He has made it very clear. And let no one seek sympathy that it is only the Kikuyus that want Ruto out. Kenyans are tired. You've seen what was happening in Mulembe Nation. You saw what was happening in Homa Bay after the death, during the burial of Albert Ojwang. Are you saying that all those were Kikuyus? Are you saying that in Eastern, somewhere in Makueni, those are Kikuyus? Are you saying that the demonstration that took place in Nairobi, all of them were Kikuyus? Then, as Rigathi says, all of them are Kikuyus. I like the answer and the reply that Rigathi Gachagua was given to William Ruto, because he has exposed William Ruto and the fallacy, the insinuations, and the hidden agenda to destroy the Kikuyu community. Economic sabotage, ethnic profiling, the amount of bullets, the number of bullets that are used there, areas that are perceived to be anti-Ruto. Kitengela, Kiserian, Ngong, Kiambu, those areas. Ladies and gentlemen, let us speak against taking away the life of an individual, because it will go round. If you don't speak against it today, thinking that you are in government, thinking that you are safe, you never know, tomorrow it will be you. This must be condemned. We need a government that governs the nation in accordance to the dictates of the Constitution. I don't know what you think, but on this, Rigathi has scored.